finally, let us review the concept of lowest common multiple. So we have already studied that multiples are the result of multiplying any two given numbers. So in basic 3, we also learned that multiples are repeated addition. So to find the lowest common multiple, you need to list the multiples of the numbers that have been given to you. That's the first step. The second step is you identify common multiples. Common multiples are the multiples of numbers that you find listed in both numbers. And then the lowest common multiple. Now the word lowest means the smallest, the least. And then common, as you have already defined, stands for the numbers that exist everywhere. And then multiple. So the lowest common multiple is going to be the smallest number that exists in both lists. We have already learned that multiples of numbers are infinite, they are unlimited, so we cannot find the highest common multiple, but we can find the lowest common multiple. So to find the lowest common multiple, always remember the 3 rules. The first step is you list the multiples of the two given numbers. The second step is you identify common multiples, and the last step is you identify the lowest common multiple. So for example, if you ask to find the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5, the first thing you're supposed to do is list the multiples of 3. Now, since multiples are infinite, we are going to list some of the multiples, at least the first 10 multiples of 3. So the first 10 multiples of 3 are 3 plus 3 gives us 6, plus 3 gives us 9, plus 3 gives us 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. Now we put 3 dots here to show that the list goes on and on. So just in case we do not find a common multiple in the list, we can just come back and continue the listing. The next thing is we list the multiples of 5. So the multiples of 5, we have the 5 itself, plus 5 gives us 10, plus 5 gives us 15, plus 5 gives us 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and so on and so forth. So now that we have some of the multiples of 3 and multiples of 5, we'll go ahead and identify common multiples of 3 and 5. Now looking in the list, we are going to do the comparing. We take 3 and we compare with the list below. Now we do not see 3 in the multiples of 5. That means 3 is not a common multiple. We move on to 6. We do not see 6 here. 6 is not a common multiple. We move on to 9 and we still don't see 9 in the list, which makes 9 not a common multiple. We move on to 12. 12 is not in the list, which means 12 is not a common multiple. We can see 15 here and we can also see 15 here, which makes the number 15 a common multiple. So common multiples of 3 and 5, we have 15. Now if we fast forward, we will see that the next common multiple we are going to identify is the number 30. Now, our objective is to identify the lowest common multiple, which happens to be the first common multiple you find in your list. So now that we have 2 common multiples, there is no need to continue the list. since we can actually identify our lowest common multiple from the common multiples we've already identified. So from here, we identify the lowest common multiple. So our lowest common multiple is given by comparing 15 and 30. We can clearly see that 15 is the smallest number. So 15 is our lowest common multiple. Have a nice day.